Okay, hello everyone, and yeah, I'll be answering your questions. I had to just do this early this morning, and so the first question is, which app can one use to teach pupils with special needs online? That one is a special course on its That's a special course on its own because it's still your normal Google Classroom and all, but it's just the tools you now use that make you stand out and that makes it easier because children with special needs tend to have short attention span. So imagine you now working with them online. So there are lots of tools, but they are more of sites. They are more of you need to know how to maneuver your way around it, and that's a different thing entirely. Okay, so number two is please kindly mention some online apps you can use to teach a nonverbal autistic ADHD child letters and numbers. Okay, you can use Staffel. Staffel is nice. TurtleDiary.com. So those are the two I can still mention here. Then others, I don't want to sell anything, okay? But I think just go online and search for it. Do I have the one I sell to people on seller account, my seller account? But you can go online, just check online. Maybe online will give you. But if you just want maybe one place where you can get book apps, websites, tools, that's when you can come to me. So toys that can assist an autistic child deal with sensory overload and a few impulsive behaviors. So what are the toys that can help? Now, the first thing is you need to first check, what are you working on? If it is that the child is always restless, we have elastic stretchy band that we use for the leg. We have wobble discs for seats. We have bean bag for calming down. We have fidget toy spinner. We have, I think I have one here. Let me show you some of my tools. Thank God I'm sitting in my office space. So okay, this is one. Yeah, this is a pen. Actually, it's a pen. It came out of a pen. Like this is fixed to a pen. Okay, so we have spinner. We have I think I'm coming. Let me check. I used to put my tools around me. They packed it. Okay, so there are lots of materials you can use with a child based on what the child sensory need is. Okay, so you can't just use anything. It's based on what the child sensory need is. It might be slime, it might be kinetic sand, it might be Play-Doh. And for those of us in Port Harcourt who are interested in going into field to work with children through therapy and apply all we've learned in everyday life, where do we do internship? Okay, we said it already that you can do internship with us. So this platform is so good because anytime there's any job offer now, we'll just post it here, and then if your location is based, we'll fix you in. You'll just apply for it, and that's how you get to practice. Okay, so are we also allowed to choose areas of specialization? Of course, yes. You can choose an area of specialization. But the thing is, you just have an idea of everything because autism most times is always linked with ADHD, which we call AUDHD. Now it's now called AUDHD if autism is linked with ADHD. Some children with dyslexia also struggle with dysgraphia. So that is why you need to have a knowledge of everything. So even if you're going to be based on one, you should know, if you have an idea in case something pops up. For example, a child with autism that has sensory overload, you should be able to know how to do sensory integration therapy. Okay, a child that has autism, you're working on behavioral issue, but the child's speech is not so is communication is not so wide. That means you should know about speech therapy. Okay, and so recommendations for international body certification. Okay, what do you advise for QABA? For QABA, go to Heritage Place. Heritage Place have the best QABA, like they are bam. I don't know what they call them now. They changed their name. Okay, I'll look for it and say it, but just type Heritage Place to see show. For ABA, go to Shades of Life Care. For CAS, go to Patrick Speech. If you are in Lagos, if you're in Abuja, go to Cadet Academy. If you're in Port Harcourt, go to Heritage Place. Okay, I think I answered that one. So please, how can I improve my expertise with the assessment, interpretation, and making of IEPs with the various tools I went to upgrade by using more sophisticated tools that will be AI incorporated to aid efficiency? More practice. The more you practice on your assessments, the more you assess. So just randomly, maybe you see a child struggling, start assessing the child. And we are still here to mentor you, I think, for like 3 months. So if you assess, just send it to any of us and like, oh, check, is this thing okay? We discuss on it, and yeah, you'll be good to go. So I usually see ads for behavioral therapists. I want to know if a therapist can focus on one aspect. Okay, so someone here said, I usually say ask for behavioral therapists. I want to know if a therapist can focus on one aspect alone. Yes, you can focus on one aspect alone. Then cognitive and behavioral. Cognitive is still a type of behavioral therapy. It's just you can say oh, specialize on ABA, one another person specialize on CBT, but if you're a behavioral therapist, I think you should be able to do everything. I teach mathematics to secondary school students. Can I give assessment on maths alone? Yes, you can give assessment on maths alone. Do I have to start at primary school maths? Yes, if the child is struggling with secondary school maths, when you're going to assess, start from primary school maths, then start taking it up and up and up. So for that, go and check STARS assessment. Okay, use STARS assessment for the child. Yeah. Then what else? When is the better scenario to advertise yourself to parents of special needs, which include difficulty and disorder? Now you don't need to advertise yourself. They come to you. What you need is to put yourself out for visibility. So you need to show that you're a person of authority in what you want them to patronize you on. That means you need to start talking about difficulty. You need to start talking about disorder. You need to start talking about it. Like anything that comes to you, like maybe things you've experienced before, things you've gone through before. Let people know that, oh, you know about these things. Share tips. Share tips. Share the knowledge you have. Debunk myth. Okay, talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more you become a person of authority. And when you become a person of authority, people tend to trust you to hand over their child to you. So it's not you advertising, I do. Then when it comes to your page, there's no proof of that you can do it. So your proof might necessarily not be physical proof. Your proof might be more on what you put out. Come do live sessions. Talk about what you let them see your face, because there's something called KLT factor. KLT factor, when they know you, they like you, they trust you, then they patronize you. Okay, and Wisdom Academy online internship. I think I've talked about that. I have a ADHD 7-year-old boy, and I noticed that whenever the boy takes snacks, their activity is higher than ever. Then I told his mom to reduce the snacks, but she said she couldn't deprive the child of what other children are taking in class. So I told her to give him fruit instead, but she refused. What can I do about the situation? Okay, they are snack friend hyperactivity, or let's say sugar-free snack. So tell her to get him sugar-free snack to stay off carbonated soda, and tell her the reasons why. Like, oh, when he gets hyper, he won't be able to attend to some things in class. He gets restless, and his attention span reduces for learning. So tell her how it's affecting, not just that he's hyper. Okay, tell her how it's going, how the thing is affecting him in class, and not that you're telling her to stay totally off snacks, but she should get sugar-free snack, and she should get carbonated or soda-free snacks. So she can get him normal fruit juice, she can give him yogurt, she can give him Ribena, even though Ribena is, but she can give him Ribena and Lucozade. She can give him their sugar-free biscuits. Lots of them at the supermarket, so she can get that for him and give to him. So what else? Thank you. So okay, I want to find out what we have to do with assessment templates. You have to print it out and fill the assessment based on either a child you imagine in your head or a child you're working with. Use it to assess the child, then you send it here. How do we teach sitting tolerance? Can you throw more light on how to introduce communicating response to a question? Okay, I think Mr. Lulokwa is going to undo that, because that's our field. I mean, that's our base, and she's in speech therapy this week, so she'll attend to that. How do I conduct an online therapy session with an autistic child with ADHD, behavioral, and tools to use? I know how to teach online, but I don't know how to teach special needs children online. That two thing, that teaching special children online, it is not this. Like I think I've answered that before. So how do I handle a child with Down syndrome that can't read, comprehend? That has Down syndrome does not mean I won't be able to do things. Okay, it's just that the brain is won't be developing as it should. So definitely the child should still be placed under struggling learning. So the way you would teach a child with learning difficulty, the way you should also teach the child with Down syndrome, but that you break it into smaller tasks. Okay, don't chunk it up, break it into smaller tasks, and that will you will get your results. Another person said, how do we handle a child that seems to be normal but find it difficult to retain recognition? Okay, as far every child is normal, and that word is not to be used, you can be sued. Okay, the child is either neurotypical or typical, or atypical and typical. So when you hear atypical, that's the one you call abnormal. When you hear neurotypical, that's the one you call abnormal, but no use of word of normal. They are all normal. just that the child is developing differently. Okay, so how do you handle a child? By if the child finds it difficult to retain recognition, that means there's something wrong with the child. The child has developmental issue, the child has cognitive issues, the child has, if the child cannot retain information, then that means there's the cognitive issue there, and that's worse than physically. So what you have to do, infuse your behavioral therapy, then merge it with your learning difficulty strategies, and it will get to work. So how do you the child retain information? I think I've talked about that in a class. Yeah. So when you ask someone about it, you will respond to in a minute and ask again, you should be able to. Writing is also a problem. So on writing, focus on our pre-writing skill, and for our retaining information, start with brain gym activities. I think I answered that on live session. Start with brain gym activity, start with pattern recognition, start with color recognition and memorization, like games that has to do with color sorting. She has to memorize, show a certain picture, let her use tangram, use flashcard sorting. So you show her a certain card, you cover it, and so you tell her, when you do the action, you tell her, okay, what action is this? Or you tell her to, so what you have to do is just, you have to work more on her retaining information that is not academic. So when she can memorize, or she can remember patterns, remember colors, remember arrangement of things, then you can now move into numbers, because pattern writing is about patterning. Your letters, your numbers, everything is about patterns. So if a child can identify patterns, the child will get used to. So you just have to weaken the brain on both sides for her to retain information. Okay, I came across tools like Week Standard, Stanford Binet, Woodcock, Johnson, Wait, ma'am, please, what do I use these tools for? How do I use this for assessment? It's broken down in that template. Go and download the template. On the template, you will see I broke it down there, like what you have to fill. So when you fill them, that is the tool. That's all. The tool is only how they assess. It is there both. I didn't send the link. I didn't send that link because I already broke it down in the template. Easy for you to understand. 60 questions. I'm not doing that one. It's not 60 questions, Coco. You only build up your own questions based on the child. Okay, and you pick up. So from this one, if you have 60 questions, write it out and use the one you can use on the child. How can I approach a parent work with their child who has a spectrum? I'm just standing out. You don't need to approach. They will approach you. You position yourself well. It's about position and repositioning, and they will approach you. Please, I've been searching for the assessment. Can someone help? I think people have helped you with that already. Internship, I've answered that. I have a twin in my class. One of them is exceptionally good, while the other is so hyperactive but lazy and find it difficult to sound and count orally. Which now the child cannot sound and count orally does not affect writing skill. Let's clear that up, okay? The child cannot, oral is different from written work. Okay, so children are good with written work and they're not good orally. Some are good orally and they're not good with written work. Both does not affect each other. However, he's very good at sensual activities, but the parents are worried because his twin is doing better than him. How do I help, or what can my response be to them? Okay, the thing is, no child is the same. No child is the same, and you need to ask about the pregnancy stage. Was there any complication? The birthing stage, was there any stress? So if there was any stress, that means that child bear more of the stress. And if that is the case, that means that the child needs therapy ASAP. I worked with twins that had that same issue. The older one, as in the Taiwo at age 4, could read book of GSS 2, but the Kenny couldn't even identify how to say very well. But when we started therapy, like I focused on her, and the first thing I did was boosting up her confidence, because anytime we talk, she was Taiwo knows it already. Ask her. If I want, no, Taiwo is brilliant. Me, I'm not brilliant. But this Kenny has a very beautiful handwriting. This Kenny is the one that is so caring. This Kenny doesn't like dirt. She can arrange things so fast. So I started highlighting what she could do. I started praising her on her strength. And then we started working on the sounds, we played around it, and she got better. Though she wasn't up to, but she was excelling in her class. Okay, so your response is they shouldn't compare the child. 2, the child needs ASAP therapy or ASAP intervention, and they shouldn't rush the twin up. They shouldn't say to their face that they won't cause unhealthy rivalry, and that the child is like proactive but lazy. So I think it's the child is lazy with academics. Why don't you use what the child's interest to get the child attention? Okay, I think I said that in one class. Use the child interest to get the child attention. Then you said the child will start excelling. So don't necessarily make it book, classroom. Break out of the class. Do fun activities. If the child is hyperactive, then channel it. Okay, if you're doing number, the child can be busting. Look for balloons. you blow different balloons, write numbers on them, and the child should be picking out the numbers and boss. So the child boss numbers that are similar. If you call number 2, the child should boss number 2. Call number 5, the child should boss number 5. And that's how you get the child to start doing things, okay? So use the child energy. But I think when you say lazy, maybe the child energy activity level is low, but the energy level is high. So most time it might not be ADHD, yeah. The child that per axis does not mean the child has ADHD. The child might just have high activity or high energy level. So, but this child you're seeing here, the temperamental trait is that the child has high activity level, high energy level, but low activity level. So balance that. So when the child is hyper, quickly fixing work and make it a movement based work. When the child is tired and do this thing, give coloring activities. But the child should also do something that is playful. A child that also has attitude to do things when she likes and fail to answer when a teacher calls or responds to anything. How do they tell the kind of syndrome? That one is hospital. You should go and diagnose at the hospital for autism or so. A 4-year-old child that has speech issue, not defect, disorder due to screening addict. Nah, don't say that though. You know, the myth is that children don't talk because of screen. Nah. Children don't talk because they are the environment, they don't have a language rich environment. That is the difference. Even children that we are working on, you will still use tools. Online class, you not see screen. All the apps we use is still on the screen. So it's just using the right tools, the right screen tools. So the child is not screen addict means that what they left the child to screen, but that is not what affected the child. There are so many factors that can make a child not talk. But the original base is language rich environment. So the child is lacking in a language rich environment. Communication is not always happening. So how can I advise the parent that the child needs? How old is the child, first of all? Then you make them understand, like make them see. For example, you ask normal questions. You can call in a meeting, or you ask the school to do a video of your child with a normal classmate. Ask questions, child is not answering. Call the child to let them know that okay, this child is attention, so the child can get better on time. Or if there's a late talker in the house, like maybe one of the parents talk late, and they might feel like it's okay. But tell them that in this age, this age that we are in, based on the fact that the food are not root based, the food we eat and are more of fertilizer based, are not organic enough. So any difficulty or any disorder that is noticed now, it's worked on time, because our natural factor is not helping again, and so they need to put something in place that the child would get to talk on time. Some choice of food affect the activity level of a child. Okay, yes. And basically gluten based food. Casein, gluten is gluten. So those are the things you see. Super Bite, I don't want to mention branding, but since it's inside house, Super Bite has gluten. Okay, they will tell you that's what make anything sticky. Some bread have gluten. What's it called now? Most of our rice has gluten. Flour has gluten. So casein too. But the thing is, some yogurt has casein. Okay, but if the probiotic is much, it helps. So not all yogurt still has casein, but some have, and but they tell you probiotics is good. So you need to check. Yes, it's not the starch. It's not the starch. It's gluten. Okay, it's not the starch. It's gluten. And then carbonated food, processed food, packaged food, sugary items. So those are the things we remove to reduce the child hyperactivity. I want to know about feeding therapy. That's a different ball game. Not here. And it doesn't need to know that as intervention. No, feeding therapy only helps a child that has to be swallowing, has to be sucking, and that is because it might affect the child's speech. But feeding doesn't aid any kind of intervention. No, it doesn't. A malfunctional therapy under speech will also help with feeding. So it's other therapy that actually help feeding, not feeding therapy that help others now. Okay, so how do we work with a child who's 3 years but don't have verbal communication? Speech therapy now, and that's what we're doing this week. Recommendation, I think I've answered that. Internship, I've answered that. Other ones I've answered. How can I do a child that forgets easily? Work and memory game. Work on use scaffolding on your dyslexia class. Work more phonemic awareness. I battle with my ADHD but in the area of brushing. Check the sense. I think I talked about that. Check the sensory issue. But if there's no sensory issue, make model brushing of it. Let the mouth smell. When it smells, just use banana peel. Scrub the tongue with it. Flatten your hand, scrub it. Okay, so it's not look like brush. it kills, it takes out odor. So child is not brush. Let child just play with it. Then when you're done, just use banana peel and once the odor will run. So how do I make him learn to brush? I think I've talked about that now. I just answered that. So I'll go through everyone's IEP. You can start this week. Okay, we'll look into that. We'll look into that. Template has been answered. Um, Kindly send step-by-step video. You're not helping my matter. You're not helping my matter. Okay, I think I've answered all that. So let me see if I can make a step-by-step video because I have to step out now. I'm going to school. Okay, do have a wonderful day. Once again, I'm Empress Thelma, EV Anointed Teacher. Ciao.